Hello, Erica here today, and I'm here today with a hashtag Booktube SFF Babbles video. The topic this week is favorite sci-fi books. And I don't read a ton of sci-fi, so I don't have a ton to share, but I do have some favorites. And I'm going to share those ones with you at least. It's been a while since I've done a Booktube SFF Babbles video. I didn't have a lot to share for a couple of the weeks, and I've just been busy and been behind. So, let us get started. Today I have two trilogies and two standalones to recommend to you. The first trilogy I want to recommend is probably no surprise to anyone, and that's the Imperial Raj Trilogy by Ann Leckie. So that's Ancillary Justice, Ancillary Sword, and Ancillary Mercy. These were recently published, and Ann Leckie is a freaking genius. I have not stopped thinking about these books since I started them, like a year ago. This is the story of an AI who was a ship and had multiple bodies, but has since been destroyed and is found with only her one body. And these books, as you probably know, I can't even believe I'm summarizing them again, are told in a really cool way in that all of the gender pronouns in the culture that these characters are immersed in are female regardless of the actual gender of the character. So a lot of people are intimidated by that. Don't be intimidated by that. I've said that like a million times on this channel. So basically, this broken AI is on a quest for revenge. This is an awesome space opera that deals a lot with character development, with politics. There's political intrigue, deals a lot about how we identify individuals and what it means to be real or to be a valid individual in society. Really poignant, really amazing. Please read it. Did you guys know that the covers, like, make a picture? You can't even see that. I gotta quit. I can't do this. I can't hold them up. The next trilogy I would like to recommend is by Margaret Atwood, and that is the Mad Adam trilogy. So that is Oryx and Crake, The Year of the Flood, and Mad Adam. And yes, it drives me crazy that they don't all match. But I had already read these two when this was published, and so I had to buy it right away. This is speculative fiction. And speculative fiction is basically, it's not science fiction, because the science in the books is based on technology that we already have. So the science in these books is based a lot on genetic engineering and kind of cloning and things like that. This series is really interesting because you don't have to read the first two books in any particular order per se. You can switch them if you want. I personally read Oryx and Crake first because that one was published first, but the timelines in these are linear. They just focus on different characters, so it doesn't really matter which way you go, which is fun. You do have to read both of these before you read Mad Adam, however, because Mad Adam ties together the two storylines in these books. So, as you might have guessed, since these two books run parallel, this series follows a whole ton of characters in this kind of speculative world where genetic engineering has kind of gotten out of control, and people live in these compounds, and there are crazy twisted animal types, and shit gets real. It's really hard to talk about this trilogy without spoiling it, because I can't remember when you're told. Ooh, yeah, no, I can't tell you anything else, I don't think. Probably I can, but not bits that I can remember right now. I read this about 2 years ago. I loved every single bit of it. I think my favorite book is The Year of the Flood, but I really loved all of it. And I highly, highly recommend. Margaret Atwood is, of course, a beautiful wordsmith, and she has such an imaginative brain. It's amazing. And also, these books will terrify the living daylights out of you. Like, it's really scary to think about what we could do to each other with technology we already have. The next standalone that I have to recommend is Radiance by Catherine M. Valente. I have a whole review on this, which I will link down below. I think at the end of the review I say that this is like the weirdest and also most delightful book I've ever read, which is true. It's kind of hard to explain, but this book is told through multiple types of media. So it's like essays and film clips and diary entries and things like that. And it follows the daughter of a filmmaker as she documents life on different planets and eventually disappears, and everyone's kind of trying to find out what happened to her. To summarize it, and I loved every bit of it. Catherine M. Valente's writing, again, is phenomenal. But again, this is one of the weirdest books you'll ever read. It's going to take a little bit of concentration to piece it together because it's told very non-linearly. That's a hard word to say. And it's a bit all over the place. But once you start to connect the dots, you're going to love it. I, for sure, will revisit this again and again because I know there are things that I missed. The last book I have to recommend, I unfortunately don't have a physical copy of, but it is Solaris by Stanislaw Lem, who is a Polish author, and this is considered kind of a classic sci-fi work. I believe it was published in the 60s, and it's about a man who travels to a different planet to kind of study the geography of the planet. I think it's like the ocean he's studying because the ocean's kind of weird. And while he's on the space station at this planet, he begins to be haunted by a physical kind of reimagining of a dead lover of his. And he soon discovers that other members on the space station are also haunted by people from their past, and he's wondering if it has to do with the planet that they're near and if it's exuding some crazy force upon them. This book is insane. It's really deep. So a lot of what this book has to offer is about how we as humans kind of go to uncharted territory and disrupt it, and maybe aren't listening to what it has to tell us, but instead are telling it how to feel. Does that make sense? I'm not sure. You have to read it to get it. It's not a very long book. It's totally intense and crazy, and I never hear anybody talking about it, so get on that now. So those are all my favorite sci-fi recommendations. If you have any books to recommend to me, please let me know. And if you've made a Booktube SFF Babbles video for this week, I would love to check it out if I have not already. And I will see you next time. Adios.